It costs you exactly $9,772 every single year. That is not a random statistic. That is the price of your smile. That is the hidden tax you pay for being agreeable. Landmark study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology analyzed decades of income data. They didn't just find a gap, they found a chasm. They discovered that men who rank high in agreeableness, the trait of being cooperative, kind, and eager to please, are financially punished by the economy. They earn nearly 18% less than their disagreeable counterparts. You walk through life thinking your niceness is a virtue. You think it makes you a good person. But the economic system treats it like a disability. You are trading your financial future for a pat on the head. You are paying a premium just to avoid conflict. But losing money is the least of your problems. Because while you are worried about being polite, someone else is watching you. And they are not looking for a friend. They are looking for a target. In 1981, researchers Grayson and Stein conducted one of the most disturbing experiments in the history of criminal psychology. They went to a high-crime area in New York City and filmed random pedestrians walking down the street. Just normal people, walking to work, going home, minding their own business. They took that footage to a maximum security prison. They sat down with violent inmates, murderers, muggers, and psychopaths. Men who had made a career out of hurting others. They showed them the tapes and asked one simple question. Who would you attack? The inmates didn't know each other. They had no time to coordinate. They watched hours of footage of hundreds of people. Yet, within 7 seconds, they all selected the exact same victims. They didn't pick the smallest people. They didn't pick the physically weakest people. They picked the people who walked with a specific disconnect. The researchers analyzed the movement of the victims. They found a lack of synchronization. Their arms didn't swing in time with their legs. Their stride was too long or too short for their body. Their posture looked apologetic. Without saying a word, these people were broadcasting a signal. They looked like they were asking permission to occupy space. The predators didn't know why they chose them. They couldn't explain the biomechanics. They just pointed at the screen and said, "That one. That one is easy." If you often feel drained, ignored, or disrespected, it's not because you are too kind. It's because you are broadcasting a signal that predators have evolved to detect. You are not nice. You are traumatized. Welcome to the missing rule. Let's look at your life. Not the curated version you show on Instagram, but the raw, unfiltered reality that happens at 2:17 p.m. on a Tuesday.
You are sitting at your desk. Your boss walks in. He asks you to do a task that isn't your job. You are already drowning in work. You haven't slept well in 3 days. Inside your head, the dialogue is clear. You scream, "No, I can't do this. I need to go home." You rehearse the rejection. You brace yourself. You feel the anger rising in your chest, ready to defend your time. But then, he looks at you, and something strange happens. The fog rolls in. Your throat closes up like a hand is gripping your windpipe. Your heart rate spikes, then drops into a weird, numb rhythm. A fake plastic smile plasters itself onto your face. You didn't put it there, it just appeared on its own. And you hear your own voice, sounding higher than usual, almost like a child's voice, saying, "Sure, no problem, I can handle that." As he walks away, satisfied, you feel it. that specific cocktail of shame and exhaustion. You hate yourself for saying yes. You replay the moment over and over in your mind. You ask yourself, why am I like this? Why can't I just speak? Why am I so weak? You promise yourself that next time you will be strong. Next time you will set boundaries. But next time comes, and the glitch happens again. Society calls this being professional. Your parents called it being a good boy. Mainstream self-help tells you to set boundaries or just be confident. But asking a person in your state to just be confident is like asking a man with a broken leg to just run. It is insulting, and it is biologically impossible. Because this isn't a mindset issue. It isn't a lack of willpower. It's a hardware issue. You are not dealing with a personality trait. You are dealing with a biological hijacker known as the Fawn Response. Most people know about fight or flight, but for the analytical introvert, the person who thinks too much and feels too deeply, fight and flight are often not options. When the threat is too big to fight and too fast to outrun, your biology has one final card to play, a card hidden deep in your mammalian brain. It is a strategy of last resort. Become useful. Become pleasing. Become invisible. This is the trap. You think you are being kind to others. In reality, you are fawning to survive them. To understand why you freeze when you want to fight, we have to stop looking at your psychology and start looking at your hardware. We need to look at the wiring under your hood. Specifically, a massive bundle of nerves called the vagus nerve. Dr. Stephen Porges, the father of Polyvagal Theory, uncovered something that changed how we understand human behavior. He found that our nervous system is not a simple switch between calm and panic. It is a hierarchy.
At the top of this hierarchy is the social engagement system. This is your state when you feel safe. In this state, the vagus nerve connects directly to the muscles of your face, your middle ear, and, crucially, your larynx or voice box. When this system is online, you can hear human voices clearly above background noise. Your face is expressive. Your voice has range and authority. You are, biologically speaking, a human being capable of connection. When you are confronted by a dominant personality, a boss, a parent, or an aggressive stranger, your body performs a scan. Porges calls this neuroception. It is a subconscious threat detection system that operates faster than thought. It scans the tone of voice, the microexpressions, and the posture of the other person. If your neuroception detects a threat that is too dangerous to fight and too close to flee from, it initiates a systems crash. It drops you out of the social engagement system and into the fawn response. Here is what happens biologically, and it explains everything you have hated about yourself for years. First, the neural supply to your vocal cords is inhibited. The laryngeal brake, the mechanism that allows you to lower your voice and speak with authority, is released. This causes the vocal cords to tighten. This is why, in a moment of conflict, your voice suddenly gets high-pitched, squeaky, or breathy. You are not choosing to sound weak. Your biology is severing the connection to your power. You are broadcasting a frequency that says, I am small, I am a child, I am not a threat. Second, your facial muscles are hijacked. The nerves that control your expression freeze into a permanent, non-threatening smile. This is not happiness. This is a mask of submission glued to your skull to prevent the predator from attacking. Third, and most dangerously, you dissociate. You disconnect from your gut feelings. You stop feeling your own anger because in the presence of a predator, anger is a liability. Anger might make you do something that gets you killed, so your body numbs you out. You are standing there, nodding, smiling, and agreeing, while inside, the pilot has ejected from the cockpit. This mechanism didn't evolve to handle awkward office meetings. It evolved in a world where the stakes were life and death. For 99% of human history, we lived in tribes. In that environment, exile was a death sentence. If the alpha of the tribe turned against you, or if the group decided you were a burden, you would be cast out into the wilderness. No food, no protection, just certain death. So the human brain evolved a desperate failsafe. If you cannot defeat the aggressor, you must appease them. You must prove instantly and completely that you are useful to them, that you are compliant, that you are safe to keep around.
Your people-pleasing is not a personality quirk. It is the echo of an ancient terror. It is your ancestors screaming at you to be nice. Because if you are not nice, you die alone in the cold. But for many of you, this software wasn't just installed by evolution. It was reinforced by your own history. If you grew up with a parent who was emotionally volatile, narcissistic, or chaotic, you learned a very specific, very dangerous lesson. Having needs is unsafe. To survive that household, you had to become a detective. You had to learn to read the micro-expressions on your parents' face before they even spoke. You had to anticipate their mood swings. You had to manage their emotions to ensure your safety. Psychologists call this parentification. The roles are reversed. The child becomes the emotional caretaker of the adult. You learned that love is conditional. You learned that you are only valuable as long as you are useful. You learned that if you assert yourself, you get punished. But if you submit, you get to survive another day. So you killed your authentic self. You buried your needs, your anger, and your voice. And you replaced them with a pleaser. A high-functioning, low-maintenance avatar designed to make everyone else comfortable. The problem is, you are no longer a child. You are no longer in that house, and you are no longer in the wild. The threat is gone, but the software is still running. You are treating your boss, your partner, and even the barista like they are that volatile parent who holds your life in their hands. You are bringing a Stone Age survival tool to a modern psychological fight, and it is destroying you. So how do we fix this? How do we rewrite a biological script that has been running for decades? How do we turn off a survival mechanism that believes you are still a helpless child living in a dangerous tribe? First, we must destroy a myth. We must shatter the lie that you tell yourself every day to sleep at night. You tell yourself that you are nice. You tell yourself that you are the peacemaker. But here is the missing rule that nobody tells you about kindness. You are not kind if you cannot be dangerous. If you are nice because you have no other choice, that is not virtue. That is cowardice wrapped in a smile. True kindness requires the capacity for aggression and the conscious, disciplined choice not to use it. A rabbit is not virtuous because it doesn't eat the wolf. It is simply a rabbit. The reason you feel exhausted, the reason you feel that heavy, dark weight in your chest, is that you are repressing a massive amount of energy. The fight response doesn't disappear just because you switched to fawn. It stays trapped in your body. It turns inward. It becomes resentment. It becomes passive aggressiveness. It becomes a corrosive acid that eats away at your self-respect. Heal.
We don't need affirmations. We don't need you to look in the mirror and say, "I am confident." Your nervous system knows when you are lying. We need to retrain the hardware. We need to prove to your vagus nerve through direct experience that conflict does not equal death. We are going to use a protocol of controlled conflict. Step 1 is the 3-second override. Remember, the Fawn response is automatic. It happens faster than thought. Someone asks you for a favor and you say yes before your brain has even processed the request. The goal, starting today, is not to say no. That is too hard for now. Your goal is simply to pause. When you feel that pressure to please, when you feel the predator's gaze on you demanding submission, do nothing. Literally freeze. Force your mouth to stay shut. Count to 3 in your head. 1, 2, 3. In those 3 seconds, the silence will feel excruciating. Your skin will crawl. You will feel a wave of panic rising, urging you to fill the silence, to apologize, to fix the tension. Let it burn. That burning sensation is not danger. That is the feeling of your people-pleasing circuit short-circuiting. By pausing, you are buying time for your prefrontal cortex, the logical, adult part of your brain, to come back online and override the terrified child. You are taking the controls back from the autopilot. Step 2 is inoculation. In medicine, we create immunity by injecting a small, weakened version of the virus. We need to do the same with rejection. You need to expose yourself to low-stakes danger. You are going to intentionally create small, safe conflicts. If you order a coffee and they get it wrong, send it back. Do not apologize. Do not say, "So sorry to be a bother." Just say, "I ordered this black. Please fix it." When a friend states an opinion about a movie that you hate, do not nod and agree. Say, "I actually didn't like it." When you do this, pay close attention to your body. Watch your heart rate spike. Watch your palms sweat. Watch your brain scream, "Danger, they will hate you. You will be exiled." And then, watch what actually happens. Watch the barista simply remake the coffee. Watch your friend simply shrug and say, "Really, I liked it." The sky does not fall. The ground does not open up. You do not die.
Every time you survive one of these micro-conflicts, you are sending a new data point to your nervous system. You are rewriting the code. You are teaching your amygdala that the year is no longer 10,000 BC, and that disapproval is not a death sentence. Step 3 is the tolerate disappointment. This is the hardest part. As you start to unmask, people will not like it. The people who benefited from your submission, the people who loved you because you were a convenient doormat, they will be angry. They will call you selfish. They will say you have changed. Good. If you are not disappointing anyone, you are not living. You are simply existing as a background character in their movie. You must learn to sit with the discomfort of letting people down. You must learn that their disappointment is not your emergency. It will feel unnatural. It will feel wrong. It will feel like you are being mean. But you are not being mean. You are simply taking your resources, your time, and your dignity, and placing them back where they belong, under your own command. The world does not reward the people who ask for permission to exist. The data is clear. The study from Cornell proved it. The economy penalizes you. The study from the prisons proved it. Predators target you. For years, you have used your niceness as a shield. You thought that if you were just compliant enough, if you were just invisible enough,
nothing could hurt you. But the truth is the opposite. Your fawning is not a shield, it is a target painted on your back. Breaking this cycle will be the hardest thing you ever do. When you stop fawning, your nervous system will scream at you. It will tell you that you are in danger. It will tell you that you are being selfish, cold, and arrogant. But remember, you are not becoming a bad person. You are simply taking off the mask. You are integrating your shadow. You are finally showing the world who you actually are, instead of who you think they want you to be. As you do this, the landscape of your life will change. You will lose friends. The people who only loved you for your utility, the people who kept you around because you were easy to control, they will leave. They will call you difficult. Let them go. Their absence is not a loss, it is space. Space for people who respect you, not for what you do for them, but for who you are. The ultimate goal of the missing rule is not to make you rich or famous or feared. It is to make you free. Free from the biological glitches that keep you small. Free from the childhood scripts that keep you scared.
When you finally override that 3-second freeze, when you finally look a predator in the eye and hold your ground without saying a word, you will find something much more valuable than being liked. You will find respect, and for the first time in your life, you will find peace. There is always a missing rule. We just found this one. For the analytical minds who demand proof, the full intelligence dossier, including the Cornell income study and the criminal psychology reports, is declassified in the description below. Verify the data yourself. If you are ready to deprogram the rest of the system, subscribe to the archive.